Today I'll show you how to make indulgent cashew desserts that are great for summer. You don't need to turn your oven on and you get to use fresh seasonal fruit. It's plum season here in France and I really want to celebrate it to its full potential. So here's the plan. We're going to make three elements: plum jelly, creamy cashew filling, and a crunchy speculoos base. And then we will use these three elements to create three different presentations for our cheesecakes. Let's start by preparing our fruit. Today I have three beautiful varieties of plums. I have these red plums here that we're gonna use for our jelly that goes on top of the cakes. We'll use the yellow plums to infuse the cashew cream, and we'll save the little green plums for decoration. Add your fruit to two separate saucepans and let it slowly simmer with sugar. I'll give you a recipe in the description box, but generally when working with fresh fruit you just have to taste it and decide where you want to take it. The plums have already started breaking down and the apartment smells absolutely amazing. Now we have to let this simmer on a low heat, and while that's going we can prepare our other elements. We only need two ingredients for our base: Speculoos biscuits and a room temperature plant butter. Add your biscuits to a blender and blend them into a coarse sand consistency. I'm using salted coconut butter today, but if you prefer, you can use unsalted or simply add a pinch of salt to your butter. There are many ways you can make the base for a cheesecake. There are raw versions where you use dates, nuts and seeds. Then you can also use digestive biscuits. I chose the speculoos biscuits because I love how the spice plays with plums. If you can't get speculoos or you don't want to use them, I'd suggest you add a pinch of speculoos spice mix to your base to create that relationship between the spices and sweet and sour plums. Use a knife to measure the depth of the base. Your mold might come with a tamper, but I'm using a cork lid wrapped in a cling foam. For the jars, I decided to not press the biscuit base. Store your creations in the fridge and start working on the next layer. First, we need to pass the cooked plums through a sieve. If you're ready to start working on your cashew filling, leave the yellow plum puree out on the counter. For now, you can store the red plum jelly in the fridge because you will only need it when the cashew filling will have set. Besides the puree, we need 7 ingredients for the filling: soaked cashews, Greek-style plant yogurt, sugar, vanilla, plant cream, agar, and water. Add cashews, yogurt, and sugar to the blender. I'll blend this up, taste it, and then we will be adding our yellow plum jelly, our thickener agar, and at the end we'll be folding in the whipped cream with vanilla. At this point we can add our yellow plum jam. Now, the yogurt has acidity, the plums have acidity. I feel like this needs a bit more sugar, and I don't want to bring all that sugar in just with the whipped cream. I want to add sugar to this already. Also, I might add just a drop of cream to make it easier for the blender because I can hear it struggling. Really just a tiny touch to maybe help it a little bit. This is the consistency you're looking for. To a stand mixer or a chilled mixing bowl, add your cream, vanilla, and sugar. I'll put a bag of frozen strawberries under my bowl so that it helps to keep my whipped cream cold while I'm working it. Mixer would help. If you have a mixer, please use a mixer, but I don't, so this is the setup. There is no need for super stiff peaks since agar sets quickly. When adding agar, you have to remember a couple of things. 1, you have to be precise with the measurements. 2, mix it in cold water or it will clump. 3, it needs to reach 90 degrees Celsius and cook for 4 minutes to activate its gelling properties. Gradually pour the agar slurry into your cashew mixture while blending it on low speed. Transfer all the cashew cream to a big bowl and start incorporating the whipped cream bit by bit. It took me 5 pours to incorporate all the cream. Agar will start setting when the temperature drops to 60 degrees Celsius, so we have to work fast. When the cashew cream is smooth and airy, top your biscuit base with the cream. I'm using a soup ladle and a spoon, but you do you, just be gentle. Offset spatula would definitely come in handy here. When adding agar to the jelly layer, the same rules apply. Weigh your ingredients, mix agar into cold water and heat it at 90 degrees Celsius for approximately 4 minutes. Since we're not blending our jelly, we are going to pour the puree into agar. You don't want the jelly to be very hot when glazing the cakes because it can melt your cream. As soon as the plum puree is evenly incorporated, we are good to go and can start glazing. I'm being very generous here because I love the tartness of plums. If you have leftover jelly, you can store it in the fridge and remelt it for something else like chia pudding or overnight oats. Agar doesn't do well in the freezer though, so avoid that. So, here are the cakes. I made an extra tiny cake. And then we also have our jars. Something I wish I would have done differently is used a plastic liner instead of baking paper, because baking paper kind of crinkles up when it gets wet. But a plastic liner would have stayed really perfect and given me much smoother line around the cake. There are places where both layers have fused together, and I could have avoided that by using a metal baker's spatula and creating a smooth top and also wiping those sides. When testing the recipe, I made nectarine and peach versions of the cake. In terms of presentation, simply using motion to spread jelly and not lining the molds worked the best for me. But it's an easy fix actually. I want to put biscuit crust around the cake so it just looks rustic. And the biscuit is also going to bring in a bit more sweetness because the cake itself is not too sweet. I'm playing around with the shapes and sizes because I hope to inspire you to create more homemade sweet moments for yourself and your loved ones, even if it's just a regular day. That is so good. The mousse is perfectly fluffy and the base gives this nice sweet crunch. And then you have the acidity coming from the jelly. It's really a symphony of flavors, and we have seasonal fruit to thank for it. Just go out there, check your local farmer's market, and really rely on that fresh fruit. And you don't have to do plum, you can choose any seasonal fruit that's available to you and turn it into this goodness. I love summer. The fruit that's available in summer, By the way, you could totally make this with frozen plums and it would be amazing. So maybe stock up on plums right now, so during cold winter evenings you have the option to make a summery treat. It is so creamy, so fluffy, so... Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next video and go make some cake.